Hey everyone, my name is Quantic Flux, and today we're diving into the infernal depths of one of my all-time favorite games, Monster Train. Specifically, we're going to be playing the last Divinity DLC, which adds a ton of interesting content to the game. If you've not seen Monster Train before, you are in for a treat. Monster Train is a strategic roguelike deck-building game set on a train in hell. In this game, hell is frozen over, and you're on a mission to restore it to its fiery glory by protecting the final burning pyre from the forces of heaven. With that being said, let's go ahead and start a run. So I gotta be honest, it's been a couple months since I have last played. So what I'm going to do is turn down the Covenant rank, which works like an ascension system, down to 1, which I believe is the lowest rank you can use the last Divinity content. And I'm going to pick some of the basic clans. So each of the clans has kind of a different playstyle, different cards available to them. The primary clan that you choose has the kind of hero unit that you get, and the allied clan just gives you supplementary cards for your main deck. So without further ado, I think that I'm going to go with the Shardtail Queen because she's a little bit more interesting in my opinion than the Hornbreaker Prince. And we're going to go with, let's say Root Seeds. Alright, let's head in on Covenant rank 1. Let's see, we've got random starting cards, ascend a unit, which will move them up a floor. I'll show you what that means in a bit. Glimmer, restore 2 health to friendly units and deal 2 damage to enemy units, pretty good. And March of Shields, which will move a unit to the front and apply 10 armor. Good stuff. Alright, so I generally like to start off by grabbing the first artifact before choosing what type of champion I want. So let's check that out. This is a fun one. This turns your starting units into units that you can use kind of throughout your whole run. But I think it sounds like it might be more fun to do the Rage per stack. So let's try and lean into that, see what we can do with that. Let's check out what champion options are given to me. So there's 3 different types of champion cards for each champion. You get shown 2 at each location when you go to level them up. And let's see, we've got 2 pretty interesting ones. This one says Rally whenever you play a non-morsel unit card on this floor, so basically any unit card that's not a morsel. She gets 10 attack, which is okay. And then this one says that after combat on every turn, you get a Queen's Impling added to your hand, and imp units cost 1 less Ember to place on the floor. That sounds like fun, so I'm going to do that. And then the last Divinity system DLC adds this thing called Pack Shards, and basically you're presented with options here to get something in exchange for adding Pack Shards, which make the game generally harder. Once you get over 100, you're allowed to fight the final boss of the DLC. Haven't decided if I'm going to show you that yet, but I might leave it as a surprise. We'll see what happens. I am, however, going to take this artifact for 15 shards and make the game harder for myself. Probably not the best idea. Let's see. First time each turn, a friendly unit is healed, draw 1. That's something. I have a feeling, though, that based on what we've chosen so far, most of my units will be imps and will be dying immediately, so probably not the best. Draw until you have 10 cards is something. I think I'm going to add a random imp unit to my hand every turn and see how that goes. That sounds fun to me, really leaning into the imp angle here. Alright, let's start our first battle. So the threat level is already a little bit increased since I added those pack shards, and then we can also add a trial, which will generally make the game harder and reward you with something good. So this one says that enemy units enter the train with 10 armor, which is a lot at the beginning of the game. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so the way that this game works is units will enter from the bottom of the train, and they will attack your units. They generally go first unless your units have haste, and once they're done, if they're still alive, they'll move up to the next level, and so on until they get to your pyre, and you do not want them attacking your pyre. So, let's see what we've got here. We've got the Shardtail Queen. She's my champion unit. She's going to be the one that's making the imps cheaper on the floor, and she also has the effect that we mentioned that adds the impling to hand at the end of turn. Train Stewards are your starting units. They're not very good, if I'm being totally honest. We don't really have any reason to ascend units at the moment, but with some artifacts you can like cause them to be dazed or stunned, and this could be good for later. But right now that wouldn't be great for us. And then this imp has a summon effect that says 20 armor to the first friendly unit. So what we're going to do is start off with the champion, always free. We're going to toss in... The order of this is important. I don't really want this clogging up the space. Right now we can only have 5 of these slots occupied. The champion takes up 2, and the imps each take up 1. So what I'm going to do is summon the Welder Helper first. It's going to get its 20 armor, and then I'm going to summon the Queen's Impling to do 10 damage to the first unit. So this is going to die, that's fine, that's what I want. We're not doing enough damage to kill the front unit, and then the back unit is going to heal it by 5, which is not great. So what we're going to do is use Root Seeds, which cost 1 Ember. Top left you can see that. It's going to apply 2 damage permanently to this unit, and by permanently I mean for this particular battle. And then it's going to allow us to draw another card next turn. So that's what we'll do. Okay. These guys, if you kill them, they give you gold on death, which is generally a good idea. I think that I'm going to use Glimmer to kill it, because I don't want a unit sitting up here taking up space. We're going to toss out a Train Steward here. Impling to do that 10 damage, and I am out of mana. Alright, we're kinda getting there. This 10 armor is proving to be a problem already. Brief Respite means that nothing's spawning on this turn. But generally the next wave is stronger. So, 3 mana. Tell you what, let's toss out an Impling, do that 10. Toss out another Impling. And then we'll toss a Steward out. My Steward on this level is going to die. Once a unit's thrown out, it generally doesn't come back unless you're playing the Melting Raiment clan. So that could be a problem, could not be, kind of depends. And then the imps here are free because of the champion, but we don't need them at the moment, so let's save them. Okay, here's the boss. The way the boss waves work is they will fight. Rather than going one turn, they'll keep going until the units are dead. So, what do we do with that information? Kind of my first concern here is I don't want these guys doing damage. You see that this one does 8 times 2, which is a lot. How can we prevent that? Gotta be honest, we can't do a whole lot. I think we're gonna take damage here. If we toss this guy out, we can do 5 damage to this guy's armor, 5 damage to him, which will allow the Train Steward to live and do 5 additional damage. Not fantastic. I think that's what we're gonna do, though. Okay. That's going to be a problem. Back to the main floor. What do we got here? We got 2 spots for units, 2 mana left. Alright, so I'm going to increase the armor of the front unit by 20. I'm going to increase the damage and draw 1 more next turn of my champion. I'm going to do 10 damage here. And I think that's the best I can do. That's pretty close to killing the boss. We don't want to waste the Ember here, so let's toss down a Train Steward on this level. We're off to a rough start, I have to be honest. Okay. So, he's only got 18 health left. Can provide rage to our units. Get another Train Steward. Okay. I think that's what I'll do. Train Steward, Rage. Rage essentially adds 3 damage per stack of Rage, so right now, because of the artifact we grabbed earlier, 1 additional stack, which is why it's 3, but essentially each one of these has 15, so we're already killing this guy, but let's just add insult to injury and make sure he doesn't die, just for fun. Alright. So at the end of the battle, we're going to get 50 gold, a clan pack from our primary clan, clan pack from our secondary, and then because we did the challenge here, we're going to get a unit draft. So let's see what we got. Okay. Gotta be honest, I don't really want any of these. Unit essences are something that the last Divinity DLC added. And essentially you can fuse units together. Like if I was to grab this and then fuse it into another unit, that unit would then get the summon ability to deal 15 damage to enemy units. But I think I'd rather have the gold here, so I'm going to skip. Imps by and large have 1 health, so this is not going to be super useful. Neither is this. I think for this one, I'm going to keep my deck thin and skip this as well. Not being wowed by these cards, to be honest. Alright, and then a unit draft. Okay, I am a big fan of Steelworker. At the end of every combat, he's going to apply 5 armor to friendly units, making them tankier. Good stuff. Okay. Let's see what we got. I have to be honest, we're mostly an imp deck, which means that buffing our units is not going to be as important as buffing our spells. So I think I'm going to go to the right. Again, I'm not super wowed by either of these units. Let's see. So we currently only have 5 room on our first floor. So if we wanted to put the champion as well as the steelworker, we only have 1 space for implings, which is not ideal. And if we grab this unit to use as a buff for our steelworker, it would increase his size and we'd have no room for imps, so that's not the best. Could grab the wilting sapwood for later and make the steelworker free. That kind of feels like a waste if I'm being honest. Tell you what, let's grab this guy for the 2nd floor and hope for the best. I'm going to, probably against my better judgment, grab another artifact because I like artifacts. Okay. I could see this being useful for our Ascend card. So I think that's what I'll do. Okay. What do we got here? We can make our Glimmer do 12 damage and 12 healing, which is kind of nice. Alternatively, there are things later that can potentially do significantly more damage, so I think I'm going to pass on that. Always nice to make spells cheaper. I think that's what I'll do here. And I like purging cards early, if I'm going to be honest. Let's get rid of a Train Steward. And then I think that... I do really like having a thin deck. Let's remove a second Train Steward. Alright, let's move on to our next battle. I honestly don't think we can handle this at this point, so let's skip this trial. Okay, so we're going to toss the Shardtail Queen. This is now free. We're gonna buff her up by 2, draw 1 next turn. Oh, I should have looked at I should have looked at his abilities here. This guy, whenever you cast a spell while he's on the floor, he gets 1 more damage. Not a huge deal at the moment, but not exactly something you should be ignoring either. I think what I'm going to do is cast both Queen's Implings. And we're going to get started up here. I'm making a tanky second floor. Okay. This is going to let us gain some more Ember. Going to toss the Awoken Hollow on the 3rd floor to kill this guy. This is being taken care of. These imps are dying. I don't really care about that. We're going to ascend this gentleman. We're going to toss the imp here so that our champion doesn't take any damage. And I don't particularly care about increasing the damage of this guy, so why don't we cast the rest of our cards? Alright, looks good. Brief respite already. Good stuff. I'm going to cultivate this guy because of his ability. When he gets healed, cultivates. Let's give this gentleman some armor. And you know what? Let's just ascend him. So he's dazed and he dies. I don't think we're going to use any of the Implings because I prefer to save them. So end of the turn and get to the boss. Okay, this is a great place for Glimmer. It's going to kill both of these units. Good stuff. Okay. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of damage to him if I'm being honest, but let's see what we can do. Oof. Okay. This guy has spikes, so anything that hits him is going to take 2 damage. You hate to see it. increase his damage. Guy's already dying, but yeah, let's do that. Alright. Good stuff. Okay. Can't hurt to have an armor imp. Yeah, why don't we grab an armor imp? I do like the idea of spikes, and it's a consume, so it's going to get rid of itself once it's played. So why don't we grab that? Alright, we can upgrade spells and heal, or we can grab an artifact and a unit. I would prefer to grab an artifact. Okay. Fine Grasp is a spell that lets us pull a unit to the front. That could be pretty useful. So, I think that's what I'll do. Let's see what this unit is. Ooh. Animus of Will combined with the Awoken Hollow could be pretty good, since it will be cultivating the Animus, which has multi-strike, so that's what I'll do. Let's see what the Concealed Caverns has. This is essentially a bunch of events. Rail spikes from the Rings of Hell have been driven into a stone near the rail like some sort of monument. At the base lies a hammer, carved with ancient runes. You can't make it all out, but what you can talks of the founding of the Covenant. Could this be the birthplace of the rail? But with the Covenant now broken, these spikes serve no purpose here. Many of them are lodged too deep into the stone to take, but the spikes of the Awoken, Melting Remnant, and Stygian Guard are loose enough to pry away. Which clan's rail spike do you take? I think probably none of them, but let's see. So, X-cost cards spend all of your remaining Ember. We only get 3 per turn, so not great at the moment. Burnout's not something I want on my units. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a thinner deck than adding these cards, so pass. Let's check out the Divine Temple. Okay. I think I think I'm gonna jack up the difficulty. We're gonna give this 32 health restored and 32 damage to the enemies. And guess what? We're gonna double that up, so now it does 10 more of each, and it does piercing, which ignores armor. That is now a very good card. We have hugely jacked up the difficulty. And let's see if we want to do anything here. Most likely, no. But, I do like the idea of sacking the Steelworker onto the Awoken Hollow. It is going to make the first floor much more dangerous for the champion, but let's be stupid, why not? Okay, on to the next battle. We've massively increased the difficulty, but let's see what we can do. Okay, enemy units deal 1 damage to the front unit on death. You hate to see it in our imp build. Okay. So, the Implings are essentially going to be killing themselves as soon as I summon them. I could Glimmer to kill them all, but that's going to do damage to my champion, which I don't want. So how about we do this, and then this. And then let's just finish this guy off. This boss's gimmick is that he's going to put down explosives that do 10 damage, which you don't want to see. Summon the Animus up here. And do I want to get rid of the Train Steward? Not yet. Okay. Okay, I hate this guy because he does a lot of damage. So, here's what we're gonna do. Summon an Impling. Divine Grasp this guy to the front. I'm going to summon another Impling and kill him. I'm going to summon another Impling. Try and prevent some damage on my champion here. And finally, on this level, we are going to put some armor there. Looks pretty good to me. Let's toss this gentleman here. We will increase our boss's damage, or our champion's damage, so we can draw an extra card. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know the bombs could be dazed. Good stuff. Okay, we got our Glimmer card. That's pretty sweet. It's going to do a ton of damage to these guys. You love to see it. This person has Sweep, which means it's going to be hitting everyone on the floor. Not a big fan of that, to be honest. Okay. Let's toss spikes on this guy. And do we want to toss out a Queen's Impling or a Molting Imp? I think Queen's Impling. And let's keep buffing our champion's damage. Oof, that is a lot of units. Okay. Alright. So this will kill everything but the bomb, and then my champion will take a ton of damage, which I don't want. So first things first, let's toss out this guy, give 20 armor, and then we'll toss out this. Good stuff. And we could toss out an imp to kill that. I don't know if I want to do that, though, to be honest. I think I'll pass. And then let's heal this guy so he cultivates. I think I want to get this Train Steward out of my deck at this point, so let's do that. And you know what? I don't really care if the Train Steward takes any damage, so let's do that. Okay. Let's Glimmer. This person also has Sweep. I hate it. Doesn't super matter what I do here, because she's going to die anyways. Let's give this imp some more armor, in anticipation for the final wave. Okay, now we're fighting the boss. Easy choice, Glimmer for a bunch of damage. Let's toss out some more armor for the front guy, so we live longer. We are not doing as much damage as I would hope. That is unfortunate. Okay. So now our imps cost Ember, since we don't have the champion out anymore. Let's toss out this gentleman. on this floor. Okay, I think perhaps we buff up our multi-strike unit up here instead. Okay, he's dazed and he's going to die. Easy peasy. Alright, on to the next one. Not too shabby. So this plays with a cultivate unit here. Unfortunately, the rest of our units don't really care about that. I think I'm gonna pass. Keep our deck thin. Quick units are pretty good because they attack before the enemy. That could be something for our deck. This one benefits from our artifact, but realistically we'd have to buff him up so we could actually get the kills that are required to apply rage. I think let's pass. And we're going to increase the space on each of our floors so that we can put more units down. Okay, I think I like this side better. Heal up to full, remove 2 units, or 2 cards I should say, but they're going to be units. And then we can buff our remaining units here. Endless means that they come back whenever they die. That sounds great for our little welder helper here. And I think it would be a good idea to give this unit some health, just in case, you know, sweeping units come up. And this unit already has 75 max health. Giving it 25 is not a huge jump, so let's pass on that. I think I'll save my money. Choose our next upgrade for a champion here. Ooh, okay. This is a great upgrade for us because of our rage here. So every turn, rather than the imp that gives 10 damage when it's summoned, it's going to give 5 rage to friendly units. That sounds very good for us. Let's see if we want anything here. I don't think I have anything I want to sacrifice here. I don't. I don't want the pack shards going up too high, but Spell chain is cool, but I think I'll pass. Let's upgrade. Honestly, I don't really want to keep this at the end. I'd prefer a thinner deck. So, you know what? Let's save our pack shards and not make it any harder for ourselves. Enemy units enter with 15 armor. I think we're going to be doing a ton of damage because of the 5 Rage Imp, which gives 15 damage to all our units every time it's up. So, you know what? I think we can do that. Famous last words. Okay. Ooh, I hate these guys. They can teleport units past the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor. Woof. I am not liking this here. Tell you what, let's ascend this guy. Let's toss him down. Let's bring this unit to the front so we can actually kill it. Increase damage here. And then we'll toss down, since it seems like they've got jumping units, let's toss down these two on the 3rd floor. Okay. Health. I want to kill that for the money. Okay. The smart thing to do here is to use the purge to bring this man to the front so that we don't have to worry about him jumping to the 3rd floor. However, what I'm going to do is something much dumber. I'm going to kill this guy because I'm greedy. We're going to... Let's toss out an imp here, another imp here, buffing our damage to crazy amounts. Shoot, I should have tossed another imp first. Well, that's okay. And then we will, since all of these units, all 3 of these are going to be on this floor next turn, toss some spikes here, and buff them up like that. Okay. Glimmer, you love to see it. Okay. Some more rage for these guys. How much damage? Okay, I think this is okay. We're not doing enough damage to kill the guy there, which is going to cause a decent chunk of damage to our higher, unfortunately. So... Okay, I think that's the best we can do. This is already good up here. So the problem is that we need our units here to die so I can keep buffing up the other units with rage. Okay, tell you what, let's keep buffing the multi-strike. We do need a... For the next wave, though, we do need a tank. Tell you what, let's kill one of our own units. Buff up the rest with rage. And call it a day. Ooh, I hate that this guy's gonna jump the boss to the 3rd floor if we don't kill him. Let's see. I think we'll be okay though. How about I purge my own unit here. Give all our units more rage. That's already killing the boss. But, you know me, let's go hard. Get out of here. Alright. Good stuff. Ooh, this is exactly what we need. This is a good card if you can reduce it to 0, which is something you can do at one of the altars in the middle. However, I think we might be able to make our deck thin enough that we don't really care. So let's skip. Ooh, perfect. Grab some gold, remove some cards. We already summon what I consider to be a much better imp every turn. So I think that I would like to get rid of an imp and Glimmer's probably more consistently useful than ascending a unit, so. And then let's see if we can buy some cool artifacts. And we have one consume card, so that's not a huge deal. Blights and Scourges cost 0. This is pretty useful for certain bosses, so I'm going to preemptively grab that. And let's refresh, see if we can get another good one. We already dazed them, so that's not super relevant. I think let's save our money. Yeah, and I don't think the 100 gold is worth that. Oof. Restoring all health when they move up a floor sounds awful. I hate that. I would very much like the random artifact, but I think that that's going to cause us a bunch of damage, so pass. Okay, toss down our champion. Toss down this imp. I don't really care if he dies. Alright, let's see. Okay. Toss down this guy. Glimmer to cultivate. Buff her up further. Let's find Grasp Pin. Don't particularly need this, but can't hurt to have it, I suppose. Ooh, you love to see it. Alright, perfect. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, gonna Divine Grasp for this guy. Got 3 spaces available here. So tell you what, toss out him. Toss out him. Toss out him. They're all going to kill themselves on this first guy's armor. Something I didn't consider. That's okay. Let's put some armor. No, that's going to bring him to the front. We don't want that. Let's put some armor on him. Add some damage here. That's going to give this guy a ton of armor because all of these units are dying, and his ability is when units die, they get more armor. So, let's see. How much are these guys doing? 14 times 3 is what? 42 plus 15? Not enough. Okay, I think all we can do is buff her up further and hope for the best. Okay, this will help quite a bit. Guy's still not dead, huh? Okay. There we go. I should really be commentating. I'm thinking really hard. Okay, sorry. Let's toss some armor on him, and then I don't really care if this fledgling dies, so we're going to toss him here to buff up the back unit by a ton here, and get this kill on this guy. Good stuff. Okay, boss time. Let's see what this guy does. He attacks a bunch, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So, what should we do here? Wow, we are not doing a lot of damage to him. Okay. So, first things first, we want to have full slots here before we toss down the rage unit. Ideally. So let's toss him down. Let's then toss him down. Sacrifice one to draw one and gain an ember. I should have looked to see if I could draw. Whoops. Okay. This floor is not going to go super well. Man, I'm trying to think if I should cultivate here by healing, or if I should do some damage here. Let's do that. Buff up her damage a little bit, and then buff up here because it goes farther since she has 3 times multi-strike. Alright, because we have Endless, this imp is going to come back. The boss is already dying. But, you know me by now, I think. Alright, good stuff. So, we could get this imp to constantly return the spikes, which wouldn't be terrible. But I also don't care about it that much, to be honest. And now that I'm thinking about it, the imp dies one time and then we can't get it back a second time, so pass on that. Ooh, regen is good because it's healing every turn. That'll make the cultivate on the big guy go off every turn, which is pretty good. But it costs 3, which is just a ton. So I'm going to pass. Let's see. Duping a card is nice. Now if we dupe this one, it's going to give us more pact shards, which is unfortunate. I don't think I really have cards that I want to dupe, to be honest. I do love the idea of an artifact there, though. On the other hand, we could remove a couple cards. Probably both the imps, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think we go this way. You know what, let's check the event out first. As you pass a train graveyard, you know several of your fallen allies. Within the Beast of Gnarled Steel lie now extinguished Par shards. Even further inside the rubble, you can make out some last protected treasures. Perhaps if you were to relight the pyre shards using some of your own, the trains would reveal their value. Which of the train's pyre shards do you relight? So we can upgrade a unit with 25 health, lose 3 pyre health, get this. When your pyre kills a unit, restore 5 pyre health, lose 6 pyre health. Friendly units gets plus 10 but can't be healed. I hate that. Man, I don't really like any of these options for us, but let's try Blood for Blood. Pyre Shard flickers to life, the treasures within now revealed, as the pyre removes its final defense. Yet as you leave, the pyre shards goes out once more, this time for good. You are all that is left. Bart. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Spell Chain, Magic Power and Piercing. I don't really care about that if I'm being honest. Let's see. This gets 15. This gives 10. So we got 25. We can get the real final boss of the DLC if we forego these. Tell you what, let's get rid of one of the implings and make it so our welder helper that comes back every time it dies does 40 damage when it's summoned. That's going to put us over the 100, so we can see the final boss. Let's leave. See if we can upgrade some spells here. Do we want to upgrade anything? Could make another one of these free, which would be nice. Let's do that. Permafrost I don't particularly care about. Don't really care about spell power. Kinda thinking I'm gonna remove the glimmer. Let's reroll. Remove, consume, and cost plus 1. We could give permanent spikes, and then make it only cost 1 again. Kind of like that idea. And then instead of having to remove, well, let's do it this way. think that's good. Our deck is looking pretty thin. I like it. Let's remove one more card, I think. Let's get rid of the last imp. Okay. And I think that is where we're going to end the episode. So if you liked what you saw, please come back for the second episode. Feel free to like the video. Definitely comment. This is my very first video, so I'm sure I did a ton of things wrong. If you have any constructive criticism for me, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. And hopefully I will see you next time. Bye-bye.